The interior of your car is arguably the most important part. It's where you're sitting, it's where you get to know your vehicle, it's where you get to experience the vehicle. It's quite important. Therefore, you must think it's quite imperative that car makers try their best to make it as user-friendly and comfortable as possible. Right? Such as the head unit or the infotainment system. It's where you control all your music, make phone calls, and just about manage everything in the car. But in recent years, it's not been going too well. Head units and center consoles used to be this all-in-one media machine that anyone could use with ease because they had what you needed most of the time and it was simple and functional. Plus, they blended in so easily into the interior design since they were so small and insignificant while having themes and colors that matched the design. And now let's compare that to how it is now. A dreary mess of glossy black plastic details, an infotainment system that takes a degree in computer science to figure out how to work, all surrounded by cheap plastics and fake chrome. I mean, yeah, okay, it's not exactly like everything has been perfect since the very start, but it still felt like they put effort into it, rather than just taking a normal car interior and stuffing a massive tablet in the middle and then putting all these fake plastic things all over the place to try and cover it up. Even premium upmarket luxury car brands are starting to do this. What world are we even living in? Well, at least they put a little bit of effort into making it a nice place to sit. Unlike some of the cars I'll be mentioning today. The first one being the 2020 8th generation Golf. Which I genuinely can't believe is 5 years old already. The 8th generation Golf honestly could not be in a worse position, having been released during the pandemic and coming right after what is honestly peak Golf, the Volkswagen Golf 7.5 Gen. And I honestly kind of feel bad for Volkswagen. I mean, the 7.5 was so perfect. It was the perfect balance of just regular raw performance Golf and the modern technology from the new age of cars. And the interior was so uncompromising. The new revised infotainment display was so good, and the digital speedometer and tachometer were also very welcome additions. All they had to do for the 8th gen really was just take that and add one or two little modern touches and change up the design a little bit. And instead, what we got was an absolute mess. I mean, just look at it. I was watching a Top Gear review of this car at the time, and one sentence perfectly summed up the interior. And I quote, "When did the world become allergic to buttons?" And looking at the interior, I kind of get it. Those glossy black things in the steering wheel are not buttons, they are haptic. And there's more. Take a look at this key fob for the Golf 8. And now, imagine what it would look like after a year in this skinny jean pocket with these guys. The scratches on this thing would be crazy, not to mention the damage to the buttons themselves. Oh wait, they're not buttons, they're also haptics! Which do look cool and minimal, but it's just, I don't feel like you're getting a clear sense that you've pressed the button. Because with a normal button, you can clearly see and feel it going in and then popping back out. But with a haptic thing, to be honest, it just buzzes a little bit, and that's it. That's the only sign you've got that you've pressed what could have been a really important control. Plus there's also gesture control, which is just about the second worst thing we've invented, right after voice control. But at least they are trying to listen, and in the latest revision, they have given back all of the buttons. Hooray! It is great when car companies learn from their mistakes and improve their cars from the feedback. Unlike some certain manufacturers. Alright, so the next car I really wanted to talk about was the Mercedes EQS. But I couldn't help but want to vomit every time I saw it. Outside and inside. Like, yeah, they say it's for aerodynamics and whatnot to increase the range, but the Volkswagen XL1, that had supreme aerodynamics, and it still looked epic. Meanwhile, this car has about, I don't know, the same aerodynamics as the XL1, but it looks atrocious. It looks absolutely disgusting. And then after you've been through all that, have a look at the interior. I'm not saying it looks like an alien spacecraft, but I'm sorry, it looks like an alien spacecraft. What did they do? I'm not even going to talk about how the entire front of the car is a gloss black touch screen mess, because you already knew that. I'm not going to talk about how the entire thing is definitely not oleophobic because it's piano black all the way across. But that's pretty obvious. You already saw that from all of the clips and all of the photos I just showed you. It's most things wrong with modern car interiors nowadays, and it is only slightly saved by the fact that the interior is actually a really nice place to be, except for the back, which has not a lot of headroom because of the aerodynamic stuff. But that's okay. Many cars trade rear headroom for maybe better looks, or having more aerodynamics, just like this car. But what's not acceptable is how they sacrifice the design to make the head unit, center console, infotainment system, whatever you want to call it, look pretty in the showroom, and then let you down basically every single day you drive it and own it. And after a couple of years, it's going to be scratched and full of little imperfections and dust, and it's just going to be really hard to clean off because of the finish that they gave it. And what happens when it breaks or overheats? Modern cars, screens and stuff are designed to turn off automatically if the temperature is too high. But all of the temperature controls, so many controls about the car, so many things are put into that screen and that software, and there's no hardware buttons to replace them because there's just a big screen. So what are you going to do if it overheats or if it breaks? On an older car, or maybe just some other car that doesn't have a big screen, this wouldn't be a problem because they give you physical controls that you can see and touch all the time. I know that having keys set in plastic that only do one thing is sometimes a bad idea, but having the entire climate control thing operated on a screen that could at any moment turn off due to an unexpected issue sounds like a massive faff compared to, I don't know, having some buttons. And how do you fix this? Do what Volkswagen did. Bring back the buttons. Simple. And while you're at that, get rid of the gesture control and the social media. We really don't need it. And as for the gloss black stuff, just try to reduce it. If you reduce the screen size, you'll naturally reduce the amount of this stuff that you have to put around it. Unless it's glass, like in the Mercedes. But for that, you'll probably want a screen protector, which preferably came in a matte finish. Other than that, some rapid fires I'd like to go through is have the Bluetooth phone calls only go through the driver's seat speaker, instead of all of them, where everyone outside can hear them. Just a quick tangent I wanted to get off my back. But yeah, that's just about it. I've got nothing else to say. I hope they fix these little problems, and yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye!